Now on Morning Drive, Star Power, Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, the winners of 2017, hit the course for the first time in the new year.
I love this golf course. What's not to like about Hawaii? Would love to take that with me here in about 5 days.
We asked the pressing questions for each superstar, and we revealed the changes some of them are making for 2018. Raise your golf IQ. Playing an extreme course like Kapalua can have you feeling blue. Charlie Reimer explains how to handle the wind, the elevation, and the grain no matter where you play your next round. And warm up in Hawaii. The weather outside is frightful, but this field is delightful. So sit back and enjoy the sights and sounds of Hawaii. It's Thursday, January 4th, 2018, and Morning Drive starts now. And wherever you may be, don't be bitter, just soak it up. That is 2:01 local time in Maui, where the average temperature year-round is about 80 degrees. And later on this afternoon, the first event of the calendar year will be underway, the Century Tournament of Champions, the 66th edition. Enough of that. Let's get back to reality. This is Studio AP, and this is Morning Drive, and officially for the first time, Charlie Reimer, we can say it's a game day for the best players in the world. Gary Winter, the big timer, good morning.
And I am seriously a little bitter that I'm not there.
I'm not a little, I'm a lot.
I've spent maybe 10 days in Maui. One of the best days I ever had with my family, my wife, my son Hayden, my other son Charlie. We got in a vehicle and we did the entire perimeter of Maui, both craters in one day. We left about 5 a.m. We got back about 10 p.m. We went the road to Hana. We went swimming in the lava pools. It's just, the place is just unbelievable to go visit, and then it's a double treat, and then we've got the best golfers in the world teaming up there this week. I can't wait to see our coverage starting later today.
No,
I
can't either, and I heard you yesterday talking about the fact that, you know, the aerial shots will literally take your breath away. It really is a very, very special place. For now, no, let's say good morning to a guy who is dressed like he is ready to go to a luau.
I'm doing my best. Good morning, guys. Aloha. Happy New Year. It was either Hawaii or Colorado for skiing, but been there, done that. What else is happening now? You mentioned it, Gary. The 66th edition of the Century Tournament of Champions on Maui. Kapalua has been the host since 1999. Justin Thomas, the defending champion, off that 3-shot win last year over Hideki Matsuyama. In fact, there are 3 past champions in the field: Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and Dustin Johnson. And take a look at the resume. This is quite a robust field. 34 winners from 2017, 100 career PGA Tour wins combined, 14 first-time participants, 3 former winners, as I mentioned, and 5 major champs. For a preview of a big day, we send it out to Todd Lewis.
Well, Damon, welcome to paradise. It's yet another beautiful day here on the island of Maui, and it's accented by live tournament golf. Round number 1 of the Century Tournament of Champions getting underway today. Now, as far as the weather forecast, well, players are going to see a similar forecast on Thursday that they had on Wednesday. East and northeast winds, those are the trade winds, and that's how this course was designed to set up to play. They'll be blowing, though, 20 to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon. As for players to look out for on Thursday and the rest of the week, well, how about number 1 in the world, Dustin Johnson? Was not happy on how he finished 2017, blew a lead at the HSBC Champions, did not play well at the Hero World Challenge. However, he says he has fixed a lot of those problems. He's worked on his game, and he's worked on his putting. That has also been an issue for him. He's got new driver in his bag, new woods. He seems very confident with where he is as far as his game goes right now. As for the defending champion, Justin Thomas, well, I talked to Justin's father, Mike Thomas, who also serves as a swing coach, and I asked Mike, how's Justin hitting the ball right now? And Mike said he's hitting it fair, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, according to Mike. He said sometimes when Justin is comfortable with his swing, he lacks a bit of desire. When he's still searching a bit, he comes out and he wills the ball in the holes. So we'll see how that translates out here on round number 1 and throughout the week as well. Also a guy to look out for that not many people are talking about is Hideki Matsuyama. He did not finish the latter half of 2017 as he wanted, just like Dustin Johnson. However, he has been practicing relentlessly through December, and he seems very confident with his game. He does have goals entering 2018. His number one goal is to win a tournament. He could check that off here this week. He also wants to win a major championship, and the other goal is to get better each and every day. We'll have live golf for you, the action and the reaction right here on Golf Channel. Damon?
All right, and much more from Todd Lewis throughout the morning. What else is happening now? Yes, the world number one, Dustin Johnson, making his first United States start since the Tour Championship. As Todd mentioned, yes, a 4-win season for the world number one, but maybe a sense of what could have been. Got injured during the week of the Masters, did not win a major championship last season. You see his tee time alongside the Rookie of the Year, Xander Schauffele, at 5:40 p.m. Eastern time. For more on DJ, we send it to Gary and Charlie.
And you mentioned the 4 wins. He had a second, he had a third. He rarely misses a cut. He's wildly consistent. And Charlie, he broke through and got that major championship at Oakmont 2016 at the U.S. Open. He's contended in all 4. You could say he could have won all 4 majors at this point in his career. Various things have happened. This year, based on the Rota, and we know obviously we'll start the major championship season at Augusta National, his best chance to win it, his second major, would be where?
Well, as you say, I think that it wouldn't be a surprise if he wins any of the 4 majors.
You're right.
I mean, he's not highly specialized in his game. He's got a game that travels. But let me ask you this. What do you think his body fat percentage is?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6.
Okay. Have you ever been in St. Louis in August?
No.
It is smoking hot. The guys with the lower body fat percentage, when we get to the PGA Championship at Belle Reve, are going to be absolutely happy to see it. Smoking hot there. That's a big ballpark. There's lots of places where he can hit his driver. I really think that golf course suits his style of play, and that temperature is not going to bother him one bit. Some of the other guys, myself included, when I'm out there working on some broadcasts, I won't like it at all. I'll be miserable. I don't like that heat and high humidity. Dustin Johnson, he grew up in South Carolina. It's not going to bother him one bit. That's where I really like him.
Well, we were in Louisville late in the summer, and we had shorts on. I got reprimanded for wearing them on the air. But with respect to him, I want to ask you about Augusta National, because certain players throughout time, whether it be Tom Weiskopf, whether it be Greg Norman, they seem destined. Rory now, he's got that leg to complete the career Grand Slam. What is it about Augusta National that he hasn't quite broken through? He keeps getting closer.
Yeah.
He's solving the puzzle.
Yeah. You know, it's certainly, you look at his ball flight. I mean, he can move it right to left if he needs to. He likes moving that ball left to right with a driver, but I mean, he can go to that 3-wood if he needs to turn it over, and I think he's fully capable of moving it right to left if he absolutely has to. But there's just something about Augusta that, you know, on the greens, around the greens, a guy that's got that much strength and power, getting the putter in the hands. It's all about touch, creativity around the greens. That's the thing, I think, for DJ. And clearly he's become a much better wedge player, one of the best in the business. But around the greens, those touch shots where we see Jordan Spieth really specialize, may not be the very best part of Dustin's game. And if he's going to break through and win at Augusta, certainly he'll be able to take advantage of the par 5s, but he'll also have to rely on that short game in close around the greens, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for him.
I remember a couple years ago, and you spent time with him, I asked him to visualize 13 at Augusta National, and I said, how do you shape it? He said, I don't shape it. I take it right over those trees, David.
Boom.
I shape it, G-Dub. I shape it.
Yeah, you shape it all right.
What else is happening now? Someone who's had success at Augusta National is the world number 2, Jordan Spieth, looking for his second career win at Kapalua this week. He won by 8 shots over Patrick Reed back in 2016. And what a 2017 year that he had. 3 victories, the major championship at the Open at Birkdale. He said he's ready for anything this season, good, bad, or ugly, because of how he handled his 3rd major championship win. You see his tee time alongside his good friend, the Player of the Year, Justin Thomas. For more, we send it back to G-Dub and to Charlie.
All right, we're looking forward, obviously, to that tee time with those two. So let's focus on one of them. We'll get to the other one here in a moment, and that is Jordan Spieth. He's ascended to number 1 in the world, and the thing that I think is so admirable, Charlie, about him is that there's no give up. If he gets to the weekend, he still thinks he has a chance, if he's within 7, 8 shots, to maybe contend. Will he, at any point this year, I'm not talking about the end of the year, that he can lift old number one and say I'm number one in the world at the end of 2018. Will he ascend to number one again? He's number two in the world right now behind DJ.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
He just got a knack for getting where he needs to go. And if you look at DJ's lead, he's a little bit ahead of Jordan, but it's not certainly an insurmountable lead.
He narrowed it at the end of the year.
Yeah, Jordan goes out and he can get a little hot and push it a little bit. Certainly wouldn't surprise me to see him become number one in the world. I mean, DJ's been number one since February. And I think we've got this year, certainly over the next 18 months. I mean, there's a handful of guys that might have a chance to take DJ off the number one spot, and I think Jordan is a guy that can possibly do it. A couple of things that maybe to look for with Jordan's speed. Tim Rosenfort was in yesterday, and he was commenting that Jordan made a switch with his driver shaft and was able to find 5 more yards. I would like to see him find a little more accuracy rather than 5 more yards.
Why?
Because when you watch Jordan struggle, it just putting the ball in the fairway seems to be the issue. And you're talking about a player statistically who's one of the best iron players in the game in terms of proximity to the hole from the fairway. I'd rather see him find another half a point somewhere of accuracy to take advantage of that iron game than trying to find even 5 more yards. To me, if I'm Jordan Spieth, if I put the ball in the fairway, you give me a 6-7 iron, I'm gonna hit it in there as close as these other guys are, even if they're hitting 8 or 9 iron. And I'd rather just see him focus on putting the golf ball in the fairway. And the other area of concern, I guess it shouldn't be at this point. if you look at his putting, 20, 25 feet, he makes more than anybody on the planet. But 5 feet in sometimes can be a little bit dicey. So that's the 2 areas of concern for me with Jordan. Everything else I don't have any worries about, especially right here.
And I want to amplify the last point you made about this, about his mind. Stacked fields. I think that he embraces whatever the environment is. And when you go to the major championship rotas, sometimes you show up and you listen to players early in the week and go, you know what, count them out. With him, somehow, some way, he convinces himself that he loves the place, even if deep down he may have some misgivings. So in the biggest events, he never shies away from the best competition, which has the most world ranking points.
Gary, you followed all different sports for your whole life. So have I. In golf, what separates good players from great players is when the lights are the brightest and the stage is the biggest, the great players are able to rise to the occasion. All sports. A lot of good players, when that heat hits, they go the other direction. Jordan, when the heat hits, he does whatever is necessary to elevate. That's why you have the football coach at Notre Dame looking at the way Jordan Spieth plays golf and says, I want my football team, Notre Dame, to play football like he plays golf. He's one of the best thinkers I've ever seen, not only in golf, but in sports.
Speaking of rising up, 2015 at Chambers Bay, the lights were the brightest, Damon, and you rose up.
You got that right. You'll never forget that 18th hole. At least I will never forget it. Yes. Speaking of players, young players who are ready physically and mentally, you talk about Jordan Spieth. I put Justin Thomas in a very similar vein. He, of course, the defending champion at the Century Tournament of Champions, got a 3-shot win over Hideki Matsuyama last year. In fact, led by 5 with 5 holes to play. Hideki put a little pressure on him. Thomas bounced back with birdies on 17 and 18. And here you see it, the 5-win season last year, including that major championship. He also shot 59. He won the FedEx Cup and was the Player of the Year. Back to you, Gary and Charlie.
All right. Yeah, he had just a huge breakout year, and he started the year having won in the United States, and then he wins the 2 events in Hawaii, and you're like, well, you still haven't won on the mainland. And he broke all the barriers that it preceded what he had accomplished in the game. Going into 2018, what is going to be the most difficult thing for Justin Thomas coming off what he just accomplished in the previous year?
Trying to stay patient. We see this in golf a lot. A player goes out and they shoot a 59 like he did at the Sony Open last year.
How do you 63 in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, how do you back those rounds up? Yeah. I mean, typically the next day after a big round, you struggle. It's just one of those things we see in golf. And it's also something, with a few exceptions, that we see when a player goes out and has a huge year, like Justin Thomas had. How do you back that up? What I don't like hearing from him is early this week, he's sort of nitpicking about saying, I was inconsistent. I missed some cuts. After winning these two events last year, setting the scoring record for back-to-back weeks in Hawaii, I believe he was 49 under par in the 2 weeks, he missed 3 of the next 5 cuts. At one point later in the season, he missed 3 consecutive cuts. He said, you know what, that really bothers me. Well, you know, that's something that would bother a Tiger Woods. In fact, I spoke to Tiger about it earlier last year, and he was saying, these guys miss cuts. He goes, the game has changed. They go out, they hit driver, they bomb it, they have hot weeks, and they win. If they miss a cut, it doesn't bother them. Tiger said, I don't like that. Justin Thomas is saying, I don't like that. But when I look at the year Justin Thomas had, I don't see anything that I don't like about it at all. You go out and you play aggressive, almost on the edge of reckless. And when you're on with that driver, look at what you do. 5 wins, including a major championship. That's pretty darn good. And he's talking about maybe changing the formula a little bit to be a little bit more consistent. I don't know, honestly, that I like hearing that. You know, I'd rather hear Justin Thomas say, hey, you know what, I had a really good year last year. I don't want to keep pushing myself to try to improve here and here and here, because if you do that, you get away from the formula that got you last year. Why change the formula after you've had a career-defining season? Oh, that, by the way, included winning the FedEx Cup. Just keep doing what you're doing, Justin. Don't try and push and improve in margins. The world is full of players that achieve something great and try to change the formula. Just go look to Luke Donald, got the #1 in the world. Oh, I need to change a few things.
Chase a little distance.
Right now, he's closer to 100th in the world than he is #1 in the world.
Yeah.
If it works, keep doing it. Be happy with it. Don't get bored with taking home those big trophies.
I'll tell you what, the most impressive thing to me is that in 2015, and obviously we know about his relationship with Jordan Spieth, we used to have him on the show, and it was like, well, I'm speaking for Jordan, I'm his little buddy, and I'm riding in the sidecar. For him to answer Spieth winning the Open and him breaking through and winning his first major and the next major just several weeks later, he's not in the sidecar anymore as we say good morning to Chantel McCabe. He's got his own Harley, and he's riding it. And meanwhile, coverage today, we're looking forward to it, round 1. And again, don't be bitter, just embrace.
I'm bitter.
The scenes from Maui and Kapalua, the Century Tournament of Champions, coverage beginning today, 5 Eastern, exclusively here on Golf Channel. I mentioned her name. We say good morning for the first time to Chantel McCabe. How are you?
Gary, good morning. Happy to be up this early and drinking my coffee at 3 a.m. But it is good to be back. Happy New Year to everybody. And you know what? The temperatures have completely sunk as we are so jealous of those scenes that we've seen in Hawaii. But you cannot ignore the weather on the East Coast. A massive northeaster taking over all of Boston and New York. They're even getting snow in Charleston. But you know what? Golfers are just like us, and they do not like this weather either. That's right. Michelle Wie, she was trying to play around in Jupiter, and these temps, they're just so cold. Even in Tallahassee, northern Florida, it got snow yesterday. And guys, today's temps in Florida this Thursday are going to be the coldest we've seen in years. I don't like it.
Yeah, but I still wore flip-flops to work this morning.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ready to play the Diamond Resorts next week. I definitely don't like it.
Yeah, you have to literally warm up in this weather also. Let's see some increases. All right, on to the tee sheet. With this week's PGA Tour stop in Maui hugging the waters, that means they'll be dealing with the wind. In their case, the trade winds and the Kona winds. We're going to be showing you how to hit your tee shot when the wind is a factor. Pat Perez explains how he takes on the finishing hole at the Plantation course and gets into why at 41 years old, he is as comfortable and as confident as ever. Plus, they say Hawaii should be on everybody's bucket list. I haven't been yet, but that includes Matt Gianella. He explains why it's a must-see stop and taking on his surfboard and the golf courses, and he shows us all of the culture of the Aloha State. Well, it's probably below freezing where you are. Hard to get out and play some golf. Like Charlie said, he's just trying to get ready.
That's 18
Sit back,
green.
enjoy the rhythm of the waves,
right there.
and get ready for some live golf today. The scenic studios provided by Kapalua Golf. Morning drive rolls on.
You see that house over there?
Yeah.
Jim Furyk built that house. I don't think they own it anymore. Way down there, that's one green.
Well, I'm
down
glad you
there.
didn't identify his house, that he still might.